G'day everyone. One of the things from the people that have been watching me over the last 12 months or so would know that I've mostly been shooting my weddings with primes. And the reason I've been doing that is because I like to travel with, well, as small lenses as possible. And that's why I've often been using the 85, for instance, as one of my main portrait lenses all the time. Now, I'm not saying this lens that I'm going to show you in a minute has replaced that, but it certainly has changed the way I've shot in my weddings over the last few months. And I wanted to take you through the wedding, particularly the last one I've done, and I can show you how I used it and what the shots look like. But what I'm talking about is a Tamron 28-75. I've found that this really has changed the way that I'm shooting. And what I'm tending to do, it's on the A7R II at the moment. What I'm tending to do is keep this on one camera always, and it's actually been on my A9 the most of the time. And then with the A7 III, I'm still swapping between my other lenses like the Batis 85 or the 35 1.4 or the 70-200mm as well if I need to do it, or even the 16-35. I put that on the other camera that I'm actually using. But I'm keeping this on my belt. That's why it's got the spider holster attachment here. I'm keeping that on my belt all day and using it for probably most of the wedding. And then I'm just switching to my second camera that's also on my belt and going through. But it really has changed the way that I've shot. So I thought I'd take you through some shots and show you the type of results that I'm getting from this lens, because it really is outstanding and I'm so happy with the way it works. Yes, the lens can be a little bit soft on the edges, but that doesn't affect the way I shoot. Because mostly I'm shooting portraits and things like that, and the main focal for me, part of that is going to be more towards the center of the frame, and it's dead sharp at the center, and I haven't noticed it really being soft at all, but I don't look pixel peeping like that, so I haven't noticed any of those issues. There is a fraction of vignetting, but again, that doesn't bother me at all, and if it is a worry to you, you can actually correct it in post in Lightroom, even if you want to go that way. I'm going to show you most of the images here are straight in Lightroom without any editing, because I do try and get the exposures correct in camera. But I will show you, there are a couple in there that I have edited, and I'll mention which ones those are when you see them, so you know the ones that I have actually edited. So let's go over, I'll switch over to Lightroom and you can have a look. Okay, so the thing that you'll notice here is that the cameras mentioned on the top, I did use this with multiple cameras. I think it was just used with the A7, the A9 and the A7R II on the day. I didn't use it with the A7 III at all. But basically, if you're looking at it, the first thing that you'll notice is that you can check up the top up here if you want to check what settings I've actually used in the camera. So this was obviously the A9. It was 1/100th of a second, f2.8, ISO 100, and it was shot at 31mm, and it was the 28-75mm lens. Now, straight away you'll notice that this is a very clean white background, and the area that I actually focused on here is this Chanel, because I wanted to make that the area of focus. Now remember, these haven't been sharpened yet, and the lens really is beautiful and sharp, like it really is sharp, and it's more than what I would ever need. And the second I take this into Photoshop and give some sharpening, it's going to be really sharp. But you know, the lens itself just works beautifully. It really does. And I'm really happy with the way, basically, you know, the type of effect that lens is giving me. Let's look at another one, which is really where I love using this lens. This is almost macro performance that you can get on this lens. You can see that this is shot at 2.8. I wanted the background basically to just drop off, which it has, and it's just lovely. You know, and it is great to be able to have such a close focusing lens like what you can get from this. It really is amazing. And I still grab the macro out when I'm doing the ring shots and things like that, full on. But I do love to quickly grab shots like this because it's so easy to do with that lens, and it really has changed the way that I shoot. And it's just amazing. This is another one where it's got the close focusing. I've just focused mostly on the glass, obviously the bride's glass at the front here. And you can see the fall off straight away. It's lovely. It's really sharp if you're looking at how sharp the actual lens is. I've focused basically on this front of the glass there. I mean, you can see all the detail in the glass. You can actually see it all through here, the texture in the actual glass. Like I said, it's rock solid. It really is. It's just outstanding. Then we went in. Remember, these haven't been edited yet. This was just shot with natural light coming in through the window. Again, you can just see how beautiful and sharp these results are. In some ways, it can almost be a little bit too sharp, but I'm fine with that because I actually like it to be a little bit that way. You can see how sharp the actual result is. Look at the pores. And remember too that they're going to be edited for me, and I will add little bits of skin softening and things like that in the images that the bride actually sees. But again, you know, that it's just rock solid in how sharp the lens actually is. It really is beautiful to use. The focusing is just like using a native lens. And that's, you know, one also a great thing about using this. It really is super quick. If I move to the next one, you can see here, that's another one I've done there. Again, look at the detail in the skin, in the eyelashes. It's just stunning. You know, it really is absolutely stunning, the quality of this lens. And that's the thing I'm saying to you. You don't have to go out and buy a G-Master lens. You can use something like this and get gorgeous results. The fall off, if you're looking at the back, is also really good. You know, you're looking at, this was shot at 2.8, and you can see there's that beautiful fall off in the background. So it does get rid of anything distracting in the background, and it looks really beautiful. And whatever you're trying to focus on is very, very sharp. Again, I was using eye autofocus. This lens just works like a normal portrait lens. And guys, these are straight out of camera, so there's nothing been done to these. If you look at the next one, you can see here how I focused on the Christy there, and she's pouring the champagne. You can also see the fall off here, you know, and because I'm fairly close to the bottle here or to this glass, that you're getting that lovely fall off in the background, which is just fantastic. Let's keep going. One of the things that you do have to be wary of is the widest the lens can go is 2.8. I was fairly close here, so it's sort of showing how you can work. It was just a kitchen bench, and I was standing just basically between the kitchen bench and the stove, and you can see that that's the sort of width that you're actually getting there. And I'm really happy with how I can use it. If I do need anything wider than that, I'll go to the 16 to 35. But I've found usually I can step back enough. And I do love the fact that this will go to 75, and it gives you that lovely portrait focal length. I'm not sure what I did those on. What were they on? They were on 49mm, so that's roughly around the 50. And again, so looking at the next one here, you can see here another one where basically I've shot it at 42mm, so it's getting close to that 50mm focal length. I just love natural shots like this. The color again is really nice, straight out of camera. I'm not going to have to do much to these at all. And again, it's lovely and sharp. Groom's details. It's also fantastic for this. You can see how sharp this is if I click onto the watch. And you'll see how sharp the actual lens is here. And you're looking at the fall off in that background, which again is really good. And again, it's just beautiful. I really can't fault the way the lens actually looks. Another one just to show the car. I got down nice and low here, and you can sort of see how sharp the actual car is when we're dealing through here. Looking at the light and things, you can check how sharp this image is all through these areas through here. You know, if you're looking at the reflections in here, it really is outstanding. And I really, like I said, I'm so happy with how this lens performs. If we look at the next one, this one has been edited. This was a sneak peek that I wanted to do. Basically, what's happened here, there's an off-camera flash just to the camera right there. It was a Profoto B10 that's just lighting up Christy on that side. And there's natural light flowing in from the background through here, which also is lovely. And I love this because it looks like she could almost be in a ruins. This was just an area we found at the back of the reception, which is just beautiful. But again, you know, the lens is just working fantastic here. I wanted to show all of this environment that was all around the outside, and it's let me do that. It was shot at 3.2, and it's also shot at 28mm. And again, I'm so happy with how this worked. This is another one straight out of camera. Just wanted to show how beautiful this looks straight out of camera, the colours. It was overcast, so this was the natural colour of the day there. And remember, the thing I'm always aiming for when I'm dealing with these things is to keep that detail in the dress. And you'll see here the detail that I'm still keeping in her dress is just outstanding. And these are going to be gorgeous when they're actually edited, because it still has all of that detail there. You can almost see what time it is through here. It really is incredible. This is all the A9 that you're seeing through here. Next one again, I just wanted to show the detail that you're getting in Christie's dress through here, the amazing detail that lens has actually held, which really is just outstanding. It really is outstanding how much detail is in there. I wanted to show this one to show you the fall off at, well, this is f4. Now, because I've got very, very close to the actual flowers here, the bouquet, you can see the fall off that I'm getting with Christy in the background. And that's due to the fact, even though that this was shot at f4, it's because I've been able to get so close to those flowers that I've been able to get that fall off right through there. Another one through here, let me just switch this back to the mouse. Another one through here, I just wanted to show this one. This is straight out of camera again. Just the bride and groom walking, looking at each other. And again, if we look at the dress, you'll see that the detail is still there. Remember, it's so important to expose for the highlights. This was heavily backlit, and it had no problem focusing, even though they were walking, and I'll show you another one in a minute. It had no problems focusing at all with the A9 here, even though it was incredibly heavily backlit, because the sun basically is directly above them up this area here, shining back through them. You can see the rim around their hair up through here, that you can see how backlit it actually is. This one here is edited, so I have edited this one. So this is showing you the type of sharpness that you will actually get when you're dealing with getting the lens actually sharpened up. It really is incredibly sharp. Again, the colours are just beautiful when you're looking at this. I just adore it. This is shot at 28mm. It was shot with them walking towards me. I had to do this so fast. There was an off-camera flash to camera left that was blowing. It was the B10 was firing straight back to them bare. Because remember, you can see the flare that's actually happening up the top up there. It was incredibly strongly backlit. You can see that when you look at their hair. You can see where the light's hitting them from the back there. So I had to light them up from the front. So the camera itself did handle that backlit scenario really well, as the lens actually did. I was really happy with how it performed here. I wanted to show you this one because I wanted to use a wide angle here. Now this is on the A9. So you'll see if you look at this, Kerry is actually standing over here with the B10, and she's going to light the couple up because it was actually quite dark. I should have grabbed another photo. You'd see actually how dark it was. But if you look at Kerry, you'll see here, once it gets in focus, is the A9. So you can see Kerry lighting up there. It's actually fired. The flash is actually fired. She's holding a glass. She's holding the bride's wine there, which is really interesting. And there you can see the bride and groom having their kiss and being lit by that Profoto B10. And it's in the 2-foot octa that you can see there as well. And then to show you how the effect I wanted this to look like, I've edited one. And you can see that there, where you can just see them separated from the background due to that light that's lighting them up in that background that's coming through there. So, you know, it's just lovely. So that's one I've posted. I also wanted to show you how this would work with environmental type shots. And these are all with the A7R II. You can see here that this is an environmental shot that I've taken. This was all set up in the valley. It was just beautiful. These are food trucks over here that would serve them food. There was a bar that's actually through here, and then the tent set up were here. There was all stuff around the corner as well. But, you know, the lens has held up really great. If I enlarge it, it's going to, like I said, it'll take a minute to render. But the detail in the lens and the actual camera, obviously, I mean, the A7R II is great. But, you know, it's amazing the quality of the lens has worked really well. When you look at the enlargement that's actually there, it's kept the detail in the sky there. In the water, you can sort of see all the detail in the water. If we look at this one here, again, I walked up the hill and you can see how this has been set up down the hill. Again, if I zoom in, you'll get an idea, you know, like how sharp this lens actually is. It really is a beautiful lens to use in combination with any of the Sony cameras, really. It's just outstanding. I really can't say, you know, enough about it. It really is great. So, in summary, the things that I love about this so much It is incredibly light. I think it's only 550 grams. It's only a 67mm filter, so this also works great on a gimbal. It's incredibly fast in focusing, as good as any native lens basically that I've got, including IAF and things like that, and tracking. It works flawlessly. It can be upgraded through the camera itself, so Sony have enabled that to happen. So it is just working like it's a Sony lens. So when there's upgrades to firmware, you just upgrade it in the camera like any other Sony lens. It really is outstanding. The build quality is really good. You just have to get used to the zoom ring being in the front rather than the back. The things it's lacking against the G Master obviously is the manual focus switch that you haven't got there, and you haven't got the manual switch that you can program to being IAF and things like that. But overall, the quality of this, I don't need the G Master. This is more than enough for what I would need. If 28mm is not wide enough for you, then you may want to, say, get another lens, and you could think about, say, probably getting the 24 1.4 G Master to hit that, or go for something like the 16 to 35 lens as well. I can't wait for Tamron to release something like a 16 to 35 f2.8 and a 70 to 200 f2.8, because if the lens is the same quality as this, yes, it is a bit more plasticky than the G Master, but you look at the price difference. It's, what is it, a third of the cost. It's incredible value. I think this probably, if you're looking at doing wedding and events and things like that, due to the weight and everything that this lens is, I think it's probably the best wedding lens that's out there for the Sony cameras, and I really do mean that. So let me know in the comments down below what you think, and I'll see you all again soon for the next video. Bye for now.